Welcome to our Raleigh Hills project. We're going to talk about countertops today, but first we want to bring you into the kitchen.
I'm a honer. Anyways, I'm a honed person.
Just throw a pillow on top that I don't...
That's going to be. So guys, we're going to talk countertops today. Countertops can be a major feature of your kitchen island, what we call the surround or in your bath vanity. But what in the world are the different materials of kitchen countertops? There's granite, there's marble, and there's quartz and quartzite. What are all those? So first, granite is a product that is very durable. It's kind of the superhero of all countertops because of its durability. You pay a little bit more price per square foot. You can put hot pans on it. It doesn't stain, it doesn't etch, and it doesn't chip. Then you move into marble, which is kind of like our Audrey Hepburn of countertops. She's a little bit more particular and requires a little bit more maintenance, but some people love the look of, you've probably heard of Carrara marble. You have to be careful about it chipping or etching, which means the finish or the polish comes off and there's like a little dull spot. Me personally, I just go with it. I treat any Carrara marble and encourage clients for Carrara marble or marble material to treat it like an old Italian house that you would walk in that's been around for 100 years. Let it etch, chip it, let it marble, use it hard, because no one wants to tiptoe around their countertops. But you have to be willing to not live with perfection. And then finally, there is quartz and quartzite. So what is quartz? Quartz is a manufactured product that is made with quartz composite, crushed up super hard under pressure and man-made to deliver a product or a look that they're trying to create. Quartzite is quarried like granite is, and it tends to be a little bit more expensive. But it's super durable too. So a good way to remember is granite and quartzite are quarried. They come from the earth. And so that should be kind of your ding dong where you say, oh, okay, that means I can probably put a pan on it without being worried because it comes from the earth. The earth's core is hot, if that's a trigger for you. Marble, more sensitive, and quartz is man-made and way more affordable, achieving the look. Like Caesar stone is a really popular name out there that's called quartz. But you should look at our blog and read more.
What product is this here?
This is a quartzite. It's quarried, and every slab that you look at in the stone yard, which is where I go select your products that you want to use, and you can too. You just ask your installer, where's the local stone yard? I want to physically pick my slab for my area, my vanity, my island, whatever it is. And we looked through and looked, oh wow, this one has more polka dots and that one has more striations and this one has more veining. And we picked our exact slab and reserved it. And in this case, we needed 2 slabs to come together. Actually, this one I did no seam, I think. I have to remember. Yeah, there's no seam. We had to create and finalize the plans of the island to be as long as the stone that I could get for this space. So that also dictated the length of the island. So one really interesting thing about stone is it comes in 2 sizes in the yard primarily, and they refer to it as 2 cm and 3 cm. What the heck is that? In English, it's a little bit less than an inch, and 3 cm is an inch and 1.18 or something. So it's an inch and a quarter. So what we wanted to do, and what you'll probably see on Pinterest and a lot of homes and all these beautiful pictures, you see what we call a thicker edge. And in this case, we wanted to make the edge, ended up to be about 2.5 thick. So you do that, like if stone is normally just that thick, how do we make this happen? Well, your installer, we call it a drop down edge or a mitered edge. Your installer actually, if he's really good, you can't even tell, but there's a seam right here. I can't even see it or feel it because they buff it and they do it all the time. But they're actually just adding countertop to make this appear thicker than it is. So it looks chunky and thick. And we did that again on the island as well. So that was really a chosen aesthetic, purely aesthetic. Why would you use 2 cm stone and why would you use 3 cm stone? Super interesting. 2 cm stone is thinner, so it's gonna be less expensive, less material, right? Duh. Okay, well if I put 2 cm stone on open cabinet tops, I have to put decking down, is what we call it in the business. And that is an additional support for the stone to sit on. The investment in 3 cm stone, a little bit thicker, I do not need to put decking on, and I can simply put the 3 cm stone, which is actually, remember where we started here. This is 3 cm stone. I'm putting it on the top of cabinetry, and then I'm making it look bigger by putting the mitered drop down edge.
So Teal, if you're not using granite or marble or quartz, what could you use?
Oh my gosh, well, I mean, definitely more affordable. People have seen like IKEA sells large pieces of butcher block.
Yep.
And it's even popular for chefs or people that really want to be able to chop and chef it up to put a portion of their island as butcher block. It's definitely a look because wood, you and I love how it warms up the space, but wood is porous. It plays hide and seek with bacteria. And so one way is, yes, you could put butcher block down for like a little section next to your sink, let's say, if you were DIYing it. Something to keep in mind is you could clean it with olive oil and you could sand it down for me, it would be like almost every quarter or something. Like you'd really wanna get below the top of the surface. And then it's just not the smartest investment, butcher block, because it will take maintenance. You know, it gets the creepy crawlies in there, and it's just not gonna last as long. So I would say, you know, when you're creating your budget, like we gotta wait until we can afford putting something down that's gonna last.
So I know typically we would go for a honed look, but how would we tell our clients about the difference between honed versus a polished countertop?
Okay, there's 3 things with honed and polished. Number 1, some stones, granites, quartzes don't come in a honed finish, but anything happens with money. If you fall in love with a piece of stone or a slab in the stone yard and you're like, oh my God, I love it. It matches my tile, it matches my paint, it does everything I want it to, but I wish it was honed. You can get that sucker buffed out and you can get it honed. It just costs money. Honed versus polished. Honed obviously has a little bit duller, warmer, in my opinion, feel and look. And also what it does with light. Polished, you can picture it. I mean, polished is, you know, more reflective of light. It's a little bit, it looks wet, and honed is dry and kind of absorbs the light. Both don't change in any way acoustically. Sometimes people think that honed and polished acoustically might have a different sound when you're setting a glass or a plate on it. No, they do not. They have the same reflection of sound. When you have a honed product, you have to seal it oftentimes so it doesn't etch. When you have a polished product, it means that there's a sealant that makes it shine on it, so it's less prone to the maintenance of having to polish it all the time. So that's the honed and polished story.
When a client comes to their contractor or their designer and they're asking about countertops, what questions should they ask?
First, they would have to identify what space they're using it in. Are they using it in an entryway that gets no pots and pans and no stains? It's just the look, right? They would ask, are they using it in a bathroom, or a kitchen? Now, is your kitchen or your bathroom gonna be more acidic? Your kitchen is, with lemons, cleaners, and stuff like that. So acid etches. Acid removes polishes and things. So you have to be careful about the acidity of the space. An entry is low acidity, the bathroom is less, the kitchen is high. You know, think about where you're using your stone. Then of course, what's your budget? You know, what can I get for $100 a square foot?
Can you tell me what your thought process was around the development of the color palette with the chairs, with the paint color, the hardware that complements these countertop selections?
It's emotional, and it is all about, you know, the client and working with them, or if it's with yourself. It's really difficult to make a permanent decision. People feel like the paint color and countertops are so permanent. Obviously, we're not going to be replacing the investment of this enormous island anytime soon. Might be easier to switch out a light, super easy to switch out handles, but this sucker is staying, right? So the client originally started with what she saw online. She was super jazzed about black cabinets. I let us ride that wave. Oh, no, sweetie, I am not doing black cabinets. But we finally got to a place where one day I mustered up the courage and I said, what about Aegean teal. And I thought she was gonna fall out of her chair. She fell in love immediately. It was a huge leap. Paint and color is super hard. That's where we started. Then we went to the stone yard with that color, this tile, and we held it against all the different slabs. And we said, how does it look with this slab? How does it look with that slab? And then we started to invest in getting information about how much it's gonna cost to get what we wanted. We soon learned that this was a nice investment and it was something we were willing to do, but we wanted to save money on the surround. So we went with taking this tile and that paint and matching it to this Caesar stone, and we found a white that worked for us. But it was not easy. Paint is hard. It is permanent, it's costly. People think in their head, oh, I can get it repainted if I don't like it in a couple years. You can, but it's expensive. It's labor, and good painters do good jobs and they deserve to invoice us for their work.
Thank you so much for coming to our Raleigh Hills project today. We hope you learned something new about countertops.
Like, subscribe, share, follow, do all the things. We'll see you on the next one.
This home did not always look this way.
Oh, sure didn't. I didn't know it was coming to me. Welcome to our Raleigh Hills project. We're trying to get it together.